The global launch of the Poco F5 series is happening on the 9th of May, and there will be two phones launching at the event, the Poco F5 and the Poco F5 Pro. It is worth mentioning that there was no Pro phone under the Poco F series since the past two generations. Last year we got the Poco F4 and Poco F4 GT, and the same happened the year before. The last time we did have a Pro phone was in 2020 when the Poco F2 Pro was launched. Anyways, the leaks and rumors have suggested that the Poco F5 is a rebrand of Redmi Note 12 Turbo, whereas the Poco F5 Pro is a rebrand of Redmi K60. Today we also got the official renders of the Poco F5 Pro, and these renders confirm the reports of the Redmi K60 rebranding. As we can see, the Poco F5 Pro is coming in at least two colors, black and white. And while the white color option has no texture or pattern on the back, the black color option has carbon fiber finish on the back panel. The phone does not have a physical fingerprint scanner because it is present under the display. Again, this is something that did not happen with the last two generations, and so the last Poco F series phone with an under-display fingerprint scanner was the Poco F2 Pro. The phone has stereo speaker setup with Dolby Atmos and an IR blaster on top. On the front, the Poco F5 Pro has a flat display with a hole punch cutout in the center. Speaking of the specifications that have leaked, the Poco F5 Pro is pretty much the same as Redmi K60 except for the battery size. The battery size is 5160 mAh as compared to 5500 mAh in the Redmi K60. And this time the Poco F5 Pro supports not just 67W wired charging but also 30W wireless charging, making it the first Poco smartphone with wireless charging support. And that's not it. It is also the first Poco phone to have a Quad HD Plus or a 2K display. Now this is a 12-bit AMOLED display with a 120Hz refresh rate, Dolby Vision support, and 1400 nits peak brightness. For performance, the Poco F5 Pro has the Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 chipset. Now while this is not the most powerful chipset at the moment, it is still one of the most powerful SoCs that you can get in Android phones right now. Finally, the camera setup is pretty average on paper, so there is a 64 megapixel primary camera with OIS support, an 8 megapixel ultra-wide, and 2 megapixel macro camera. The selfie camera has a 16 megapixel sensor. Now there is no information on the pricing of this phone, and it is also reported that it will not be available in the Indian market and will be launched only in the European market. In the Indian market, only the Poco F5 will be launched. And speaking of the Poco F5, it is said to be a rebranded Redmi Note 12 Turbo. The Note 12 Turbo was launched last month in the Chinese market, and it is the first phone to have the Snapdragon 7 Plus Gen 2 chipset. If you do not know, the Snapdragon 7 Plus Gen 2 is like an underclocked version of the Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1. In short, this is an extremely powerful mid-range SoC. The Poco F5 has a 6.67-inch Full HD Plus 12-bit OLED with a 120Hz refresh rate, HDR10 Plus, and Dolby Vision support. There is the same camera setup as the Poco F5 Pro. There is a 64 megapixel primary camera with OIS, an 8 megapixel ultra-wide, and a 2 megapixel macro. The battery size is 5000 mAh and the phone supports 67W fast charging. And well, that is all about the Poco F5 and the Poco F5 Pro. The pricing is still unknown, but it is expected that in the Indian market, the Poco F5 will be priced under 30,000 rupees. So, what do you think of the specifications? Do let me know via the comment section below, and as always, I'll catch you in the next one.